Once upon a time, in ancient Greece, there was a god named Dionysus. He was responsible for many things, including winemaking, vegetation, fertility, and festivals. He was also known as Bacchus because he induced a frenzy called Bacchia. Dionysus was a god of epiphany, known as the god that comes. Wine was central to the cult of Dionysus. Festivals were held in his honor, and sacred dramas depicting his myths were performed. These were the initial driving force behind the development of theater in Western culture. It was said that wine brought joy, eased suffering, and inspired divine madness, making it a crucial aspect of Dionysus' story. Interestingly, the Roman state viewed festivals dedicated to the god as subversive because they included free mixing of all classes and genders. Celebrating the Bacchanalia was made a capital offense, except in the toned-down forms and greatly diminished congregations approved by the state. Festivals of Bacchus were merged with those of Liber and Dionysus to control their influence. Beyond wine, Dionysus was also credited with founding the Eleusinian Mysteries. The mysteries identify him with Iacchus, the son or husband of Demeter. Demeter was the goddess of the harvest and agriculture. Therefore, Dionysus was believed to be born in Thrace, but his origins are the subject of much uncertainty. Dionysus Thyrsus was a fennel-stem scepter that was both a beneficent wand and a weapon used to destroy those who opposed his cult. Those who partook in his mysteries were believed to become possessed and empowered by the god. To the Greeks, Dionysus was both a god of life and death, a dying and rising. Once upon a time, there were two gods named Dionysus. The older Dionysus had a long beard, while the younger one was long-haired, youthful, and effeminate. Despite their differences, the younger Dionysus eventually inherited the deeds of the older one, which led future generations to believe in only one Dionysus. Dionysus had a complicated story, with conflicting traditions regarding his parentage, birth, and life on Earth. Nevertheless, some classical literature documented the varying genealogies of Dionysus. Only a few, like the Bibliotheca Historica in the 1st century BC and the Roman author Hyginus's brief birth narrative in the 1st century AD, contained the actual myths of his multiple births. However, a longer account of Dionysus's life is chronicled in the epic poem Dionysiaca by Nonnus. This narrative emphasized the life of the third Dionysus, born to Zeus and Semele. Despite their godly status, Dionysus's birth was no ordinary event. In fact, it was highly unusual because Semele was a mortal. Dionysus was a fascinating figure in Greek mythology, with two different birth stories associated with him. According to one version, he was the son of Zeus and Persephone who taught people how to plow fields with oxen. In this account, he was often depicted with horns, which represented his invention of plowing. However, in another version, Zeus took the form of a serpent and impregnated Persephone, who gave birth to a horned baby named Zagreus. Unfortunately, the Titans attacked and dismembered Zagreus. But, the pieces of his body reformed as Dionysus, who became the god of the vine. Interestingly, in the Orphic tradition, Dionysus was associated with the underworld and considered the son of Persephone. He too suffered the same fate as Zagreus, as the Titans dismembered him. Nevertheless, he was later reborn, and he became the god of wine. The reconstructed story suggests that Zeus and Persephone produced Dionysus, who was intended to be the successor. However, Hera incited the Titans to kill him. Despite this, Dionysus was later reborn and became the god of the vine. Diodorus added that Dionysus was symbolically born twice. The first birth was from the gods of the rain and the earth. But the second one was much more important. His rebirth from Demeter restored fruitfulness to the earth, which made him a celebrated deity in ancient Greek mythology. Dionysus, the Greek god of wine, fertility, theater, and ecstasy, had a birth story that was steeped in legend and myth. One version of his birth, narrated by Gaius Julius Hyginus, tells us that originally, he was the son of Jove and Proserpine. The Titans tore him apart, and Jove put his heart's fragments into a drink which Semele, the daughter of Harmonia and Cadmus, drank. The result of the drink was pregnancy, and she was killed by a thunderbolt. Jove then took the infant Dionysus from her womb and gave him to Nisus for his care. Another beautiful version of Dionysus' birth is given by Nonnus. After the flood, Zeus sent Dionysus to teach mortals how to grow grapes and make wine to alleviate their toil, suffering, and wars. Semele had a dream in which Zeus destroyed a fruit tree with a bolt of lightning, but the fruit remained unharmed. Zeus sent a bird to bring him one of the fruits, which he sewed into his thigh, and he became both mother and father to the new Dionysus. Semele saw the bull-shaped figure of a man emerge from Zeus' thigh and realizing that she was the tree. Zeus came to her in bed, and their liaison resulted in an overgrowth of vines and flowers in Semele's chambers. However, Semele's joy was short-lived, as Hera, envious of Semele's attention from Zeus, made her jealous and provoked her to request Zeus to appear before her in his full godhood. Semele prayed, and Zeus answered her prayers but warned her that no other mortal had ever seen him as he held his lightning bolts. Semele reached out to touch them and turned to ash. But the infant Dionysus survived, and Zeus rescued him from the flames, sewing him into his thigh. The seasons crowned him with ivy and flowers, and wrapped horned snakes around his horns. In an alternate birth narrative given by Diodorus, Dionysus is the son of Ammon and Amalthea and grew in fame due to his art, beauty, and skills. Even in antiquity, Dionysus' birth to a mortal woman led some to argue that he was a historical figure who became deified over time. However, to Julian, Dionysus' birth stood as an allegory for the deeper spiritual truth of the god's divine manifestation to Semele. Zeus sent Dionysus from India as a god made visible, spreading his worship, giving the vine as a symbol of his manifestation among mortals, and imposing a new order on humanity to pass from nomadic to civilized life.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.